Oh boy, this is already 50 million minutes long. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I was looking through all of the videos that I have done on my channel so far, and while I'm really proud of all of the content that is there, there's not really anything that lets you see anything about my personality and who I am. So as you could obviously tell from the title, today we're going to talk about some of the interesting things that make me me. So I have a feeling this video is already going to be long, so I'm just going to get right into it. I like dried flowers more than fresh flowers. So my wedding bouquet was actually made out of the first flowers that my husband ever gave me, and he gave them to me while we were obviously just still dating, and I dried them, and those are the flowers that turned into my bridal bouquet. I can speak sign language. I always have wondered though if that's the way that you say that. I can sign language. I know sign language. I can speak sign language. Anyway, I can talk with my hands fluently. I went to the same elementary, middle school, and high school as my husband, but we didn't meet until college, when we weren't even in the same college, but we happened to be dorming in the same apartment complex. Our daughters are now in the same school district that we are in, so they will go to the same schools that we went to. I studied photography in college. Well, technically it was a arts and communication major with a emphasis in photography. My next oldest sibling is my older brother, and he is 11 years older than me, but my next youngest sibling is my little sister, and she is only 15 months younger than me. And that's just the three of us. My parents just couldn't have kids for those 11 years, so I was their little miracle baby after 11 years of trying. I actually enjoy awkward moments, and in high school my favorite thing was trying to create awkward moments for my peers and those around me. If I had to become anything else besides like the things that I'm doing right now, as far as from a professional standpoint, I would become an architect. I've always had a passion for everything about the home, and now that we've been remodeling as a couple, it just has driven home that love that I have even more. My first job was working at a gift shop at the local baseball stadium. I don't have a filter, and I don't have a bubble, and I don't feel uncomfortable talking about anything. I will talk about all of the things that we shouldn't talk about. I'll talk about drugs, sex, and alcohol, and religion, politics, ex-boyfriends, and the gross things like periods or pregnancy issues. The things that make other people uncomfortable are the things that I love to talk about. I'll answer any question, and I will talk about any subject. Speaking of ex-boyfriends, I once dated a guy who lived in a motorhome, and it wasn't even his motorhome. It was a broken motorhome of his friend's parents, and I dated him. I graduated from hair school and high school at basically the same time. I think it was only like a month or two apart from each other. The way that I was able to do that was by going to hair school during my senior year of high school. I never burp. Like, never. I fart more than the average person probably because of it, but I never burp. I'm sure I burped as a little kid, like as a baby when my mom was burping me, but I do not remember in my whole lifetime ever burping, unless it's like in the process of throwing up. That is the only time. My husband can attest to it, my family can attest to it. I'm this like weird phenomenon that I don't know how to burp. In my entire life, I have probably had only 1 bottle's worth of soda. I hate it. I hate the feeling of it going down my throat. It burns. I also don't drink any alcohol, or I don't drink anything except water. I don't really like juices. I don't like milk. I'm just a water person. Just water. It's kind of sad. My father-in-law wore a kilt to our wedding, and I love him all the more for it. Okay, there's a Rodgers and Hammerstein's version of Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston. That is my all-time favorite movie. It is the best. I think it's so funny. I love to sing along to it. It's just quirky and girly. I just love it. I have a 17-year-old Cocker Spaniel. He is my childhood dog, well, mine and my sister's childhood dog, and as soon as Garrison and I got into a house with a backyard, I took him under my wing, and he's been with us ever since. But he's the oldest Cocker Spaniel that any of our vets have ever heard of or seen themselves. He's gonna turn 18 this April. All of the girls on my side of the family end with the letter I, so that's why my name is spelt the way that it is. Another kind of interesting thing about names in my family is my mom's name is Lonnie, but my husband's mother's name is Kaylani. And then both of our maternal grandmothers' names are Lovey and Elvie. Isn't that kind of weird? That's actually how we came up with the name Everly for our daughter, is we wanted a name that sounded like Levi and Elvie put together and ended with the letter I, like the rest of the girls in our family, so we came up with Everly. When I was a little girl and I was playing Barbies or dolls with my friends, the last name that I always chose for my dolls was Jones, and that's now my last name. So it's kind of fate that I ended up being a Jones after all of those years of practicing my signature as Valerie Jones and pretending to be Valerie Jones whenever I was a character I played The Sims and named my characters Jones, and when I'm a little girl playing with Barbies and stuff, it was always the last name of Jones. But my maiden name is Wynn. I am really surprisingly good at memorizing song lyrics after only hearing it one time. Like, I can sing along to almost any song. It just internalizes really quickly and easily with me. I never blow dry my hair. I maybe blow dry my hair once or twice a year. I always let it air dry, mostly because it's so thin and fine that it air dries in like the same amount of time it would take an average girl to blow dry her hair. So what's the point? I've always wanted to move to North Carolina, even though I've never even vacationed there. I'll blame that one on Nicholas Sparks. I've read all of his books, and I read them as soon as they come out, and all of them take place in North Carolina, and so I'm obsessed with it without ever even actually traveling there. I have never been able to do a cartwheel, but I could do the splits even up until I was 9 months pregnant. I don't personally own any flip-flops. I just hate the feeling of things in between my toes and they like fall off. I could walk in heels for days upon days, but try and get me to walk in flip-flops, it ain't gonna happen. My second and third toes, so like the big toe, the second and third toes, are longer than my big toe. I think it's technically called like princess toes or something like that, but either way, those like peep toe shoes, they don't work with me. It's just a whole lot of long toes sticking out of there. I don't really like tropical vacations. I'm more of a city walk around, do all the touristy things, take tons of pictures type of girl. Not a lay out on the beach and get sand in my clothes and get sunburnt and more freckles. Like, I'm not that kind of a girl. My type of a vacation would be something more like San Francisco or New York. Busy, lots of things to do, overwhelmed with the senses, with like everything that's hitting you, and not just like go and get a couple spa or hang out by the beach. That's kind of not my cup of tea. I once turned down winning a free helicopter ride because I was so scared of heights. I am so scared of heights. I went to Costa Rica with my class for just under 2 weeks in high school. That trip down to Costa Rica was actually the same type of trip that my husband went on with his class, only a couple of years earlier. I prefer preheated pasta to fresh pasta. So like second day macaroni and cheese, that's just like my favorite. I can make my ears pop. Did you hear that? I just create a suction inside my ears and then flick my finger out and I can make my ears pop. I also make this weird, disgusting pig grunt whenever I am getting a cold. It like itches my throat and my ears and my sinuses whenever I make that noise. So whenever I'm getting a cold, I go like this. The sucking in somehow like itches all of the gunk that's happening, so it itches like my ears and my nose, my sinuses and my throat. So whenever I'm getting a cold, that's the telltale sign, as I start sounding like a pig. I always bite my lips whenever I'm focusing really hard or working, or if I'm just really busy. I go like that. My clients, whenever I'm round brushing, I'm like, I just have a tendency to bite my lips. And because of that, my lips get super dry. So if I've had a really, really productive, really busy day, then almost always my lips end up being super red and chapped. I prefer the crusts of bread, like the heels on bread loaves that normally just get like thrown away. That is my favorite part of the bread loaf. And I also will only eat brownies if it's the corner piece, because I don't know, I think I just must like the crunchy crust type things. I think that's all of them. That's it, guys. That's the only things that are interesting about me. Let me know in the comments below if we share a similar trait. I hope you learned a little bit about me. Now when you see my future videos, you'll have a little bit of a backstory as to who I am, who this crazy girl is that's teaching you about hair and makeup and giving her thoughts on products. But if you guys want me to do any more videos like this that are a little bit more personal, or story times, or have me talk more about my ex-boyfriends, or any of those kinds of things, then tell me in the comments below, or like this video. That kind of feedback lets me know what types of videos to produce for you guys in the future. As always, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the links in the description box below. That'll give you the links to all of my social media. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! I'm kind of a weirdo.